The city of Nova Prime was alive with lights and sounds. Towering buildings reached into the sky, glowing softly with neon signs and digital billboards. The streets buzzed with people of all kinds, humans, robots, and beings from many different planets. In this busy place, the NovaCore company was one of the biggest employers. Its name was known across the galaxy for technology and service. Zane, the CEO of NovaCore, walked through the city streets, dressed simply in a plain uniform that did not show his true rank. He wanted to see the company from the ground, not from the tall office towers. He wanted to understand what life was like for the people who worked long hours to keep NovaCore running. Zane entered one of the company's service hubs, a large, bright space where workers helped customers with products, information, and support. The hub was filled with voices and the clatter of machines. Screens showed advertisements and special offers, while workers moved quickly behind counters and kiosks. As Zane watched quietly, his eyes caught a young man standing at one of the cashier stations. The man's name tag read Kai. Kai's arms hung low and moved slowly. He looked like he was struggling. His movements were careful, and it took him a long time to scan each item. Zane noticed that Kai's arms did not move like other people's. They were wrapped in thick bandages, and every small task seemed difficult for him. He struggled to lift objects and had to pause often to rest. Despite this, Kai smiled gently at every customer, never once showing frustration or pain. Zane felt a strange feeling inside. He had seen many workers in his time, but Kai was different. There was a quiet strength in the way Kai faced his work. He did not complain or ask for help. Instead, he kept going, focused and patient. Customers seemed to notice too. Some of them smiled back, while others whispered kind words. But a few looked impatient. One man tapped his foot loudly and said, "Come on, hurry up. We don't have all day." Kai did not react to the impatience. He only nodded and smiled, doing his best to keep the line moving. Zane admired his calmness but worried about the pressure Kai faced every day. After finishing with one customer, Kai's hand slipped, and a small stack of items fell to the floor. The customers around him sighed in frustration. Kai quickly bent down, slowly picked up the things, and apologized softly. Zane decided to approach him. He waited until the rush was over and then spoke. "Hi, I'm Zane," he said with a warm smile. "I work here too." Kai looked up, surprised. "Hello, Zane. I'm Kai." Zane noticed the way Kai's eyes brightened for a moment. "I see you are working very hard. Your arms, are they okay?" Kai hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "I'm managing. It's not easy, but I want to help." Zane could see the pain hidden behind Kai's words. He asked gently, "What happened?" Kai took a deep breath and began to explain. "There was an accident in one of the colony buildings last year. The walls started to fall, and people were trapped inside. I helped to rescue some of them, but my arms got hurt badly." Zane listened carefully. "That was very brave of you." Kai smiled sadly. "Thank you. But now, it's hard to do simple things. I wanted to quit, but I needed to work." Zane's heart went out to Kai. Here was a man who had given so much, yet still faced hardship every day. Zane realized he had never really thought about the people like Kai, those who carried pain quietly while others hurried past. As they talked, other workers came by, some stopping to offer kind words to Kai. One woman placed a gentle hand on his shoulder and said, "You're doing great, Kai. We all see you." Zane watched the small moment of kindness and understood something important. The strength of a person was not just in their body, but in their spirit. Kai's spirit shone brightly, even through the difficulties. Zane decided to stay longer, to learn more about the lives of his workers. He wanted to see what the company could do better. But most of all, he wanted to find a way to help people like Kai. Before leaving the hub for the night, Zane looked back once more at Kai. The young man was already back at his station, carefully serving the next customer. His smile was still there, calm and full of hope. Zane thought to himself, this is the real face of Novacore. Not the shining towers or the big meetings, but the courage and heart of people like Kai. And so, Zane's journey began not as a boss in a high office, but as a witness to the true strength of humanity. The next morning, Zane returned to the service hub. The city was waking up, the sky glowing soft pink with the early sun. Inside the hub, the usual bustle was already in full swing. People moved quickly, talking, scanning items, and helping customers. Zane watched from a corner, blending in with the crowd. His eyes were drawn again to Kai, the cashier with the bandaged arms. Kai was already at his station, ready to start the day. The way Kai moved was slow but careful, every action filled with determination. Today, Zane decided to observe more closely. He saw Kai greet each customer with a quiet kindness. Despite his injury, Kai never rushed, never lost patience. His smile stayed bright even when customers were loud or upset. One customer approached Kai's counter, clearly in a hurry. The woman was talking quickly on her communicator while trying to unload her shopping basket. She glanced at Kai's arms and sighed. "Are you okay?" she asked, a little concerned but also annoyed by the slow pace. Kai smiled gently. "I'm fine, thank you. I will do my best." The woman nodded and waited, tapping her foot. The line behind her grew longer. Some people grumbled quietly, others whispered to each other. Zane felt the tension in the room. The system expected fast work, but Kai could not rush. His body limited him, but his heart would not give up. After the woman left, Zane walked closer to Kai's counter. "You handled that very well," he said softly. Kai looked up, a little surprised to see Zane again. "Thank you. It's not always easy, but I want to be helpful." Zane noticed the slight wince when Kai moved his arms. "Does it hurt much?" Kai nodded. "Sometimes. But pain is part of life. I focus on what I can do." Zane admired Kai's attitude. So many people would have given up or been angry. But Kai accepted his situation with quiet courage. During a short break, Zane found a place to sit and watch. He talked with some of the other workers nearby. They shared stories about the challenges of the job, the long hours, and the pressure to be fast and perfect. One worker, a young woman named Myra, spoke kindly about Kai. "He's one of the strongest people I know," she said. "Even with his arms like that, he never complains. He keeps us all calm." Zane felt something shift inside him. The company he led was a machine that demanded speed and efficiency, but it was the people like Kai who kept it alive. Their kindness, strength, and patience were the real power. Later in the day, Zane noticed something strange. Some managers passed by Kai's station with cold looks. One whispered to another, "He's slowing things down. Maybe he should be replaced." Zane's heart sank. He knew the system was harsh, and workers who couldn't keep up were often pushed out. But Kai was more than just a slow cashier. He was a symbol of something deeper, of courage and resilience. That evening, after the hub closed, Zane found Kai cleaning his station. The bandages on Kai's arms were still visible, but his face was calm and kind. Zane approached him. "Can I ask you something?" Kai nodded. "Of course. Do you want to keep working here, even with the pain and the difficulties?" Kai smiled softly. "Yes. This job gives me purpose. I want to help people. I want to show that even with problems, we can do great things." Zane felt respect grow inside him. Here was a man who refused to be defined by his injury. Instead, Kai chose to rise above it and make a difference. Before leaving, Zane said, "I'll make sure your work is noticed. You deserve more than just thanks." Kai's eyes shone with hope. Thank you, Zane. That means a lot. Walking away, Zane thought deeply. He had seen many things as a CEO, but nothing like this. The strength of one person with broken arms had touched him in a way no report or meeting ever could. He promised himself to learn more, to change the system if needed. Kai's quiet courage had shown him the true meaning of strength. The night sky shone over Nova Prime as Zane looked up. Somewhere in the city, workers like Kai dreamed of a better future. And Zane was ready to help make that future real. The next few days passed quickly for Zane as he continued his undercover visit. Each morning, he entered the Nova Core Service Hub early, watching the workers and listening carefully to their stories. But no one caught his attention more than Kai, the cashier with broken arms and an unbreakable spirit. Zane wanted to understand more about Kai's past, the man behind the calm smile and slow movements. One afternoon, after the busy lunch rush, Zane approached Kai again while the others were on a short break. Can you tell me how you hurt your arms? Zane asked gently. Kai looked down at his bandaged arms and nodded. It was during the collapse of Building 9, about a year ago. I was there with my family when the earthquake hit. The building started to fall, and people were trapped inside. Kai paused, eyes distant. I didn't think. I just ran in to help. Zane waited quietly, letting Kai continue. I pulled people out from under rubble. I found children, old people. I carried them to safety. But then the wall crushed me. My arms were badly broken. Kai smiled faintly. I was lucky to survive. But my arms never fully healed. Zane felt a deep respect for Kai's courage. Most people would have run away, but Kai risked everything to save others. But why work here now? Zane asked. With so much pain and difficulty. Kai's smile grew warmer. Because I want to show that even when life breaks you, you can still rise. I want to inspire others. I want them to see that strength is not just in the body, but in the heart. Zane was silent for a moment, realizing how much wisdom Kai held. It was clear that Kai had become more than just a cashier, he was a symbol of hope for many. Later that day, Zane decided to watch Kai more closely. He noticed how Kai used his body carefully to avoid pain. Kai had learned to adapt. He used his elbows and the side of his body to help lift heavier objects. He adjusted his movements to avoid strain, making small but important changes to keep working. Zane also saw how others treated Kai with respect and kindness. Some helped him reach things that were difficult to grab. Others offered quick smiles or small words of encouragement. But Zane also saw the challenges. There were moments when customers grew impatient. One man raised his voice, demanding faster service. Kai responded calmly, but Zane could see the pain in his eyes. Zane understood the pressure Kai faced every day, not just from his body, but from the world around him. That evening, as the hub quieted down, Zane found Kai sitting alone near the exit. His arms rested on a table, tired but steady. Kai, Zane said softly, you have a strength that many don't understand. But I want to know, do you ever feel like giving up? Kai looked up, surprised by the question. Sometimes, he admitted. The pain can be hard to bear. And sometimes people don't see what I'm trying to do. But then I think of those I saved. I think of my family and friends who believe in me. That keeps me going. Zane nodded. You inspire me. Kai smiled. Thank you. That means a lot coming from you. As Zane prepared to leave, Kai reached into his bag and pulled out a small device. Here, this helps me, he explained. It was a simple mechanical tool designed to support Kai's arms and make movement easier. Zane examined it closely. It was not a high-tech machine, but it was effective. Kai had built it himself, using parts he found around the city. That's amazing, Zane said. You built this yourself? Kai nodded proudly. I learned to fix machines when I was young. I use what I can to make life better. Zane realized something important. Kai was not just surviving, he was innovating. His spirit and mind worked together to overcome limits. Zane promised Kai that he would look into ways to support workers like him better. He wanted to find new technology, new policies to help those with injuries or difficulties. On his way out, Zane looked at Kai once more. The young man was tired, but his eyes held a quiet fire. It was a fire that no injury could put out. As Zane walked through the city streets under the bright stars, he thought about how many people like Kai were out there facing challenges every day with courage and hope. Zane knew that the future of Novacore, and maybe even the galaxy, depended on honoring that strength. Over the next week, Zane spent more time in the service hub. He watched the daily struggles of the workers, some small, some large, and how they did their best to meet the endless demands. But what weighed heaviest on Zane's mind was the way the company's system treated people like Kai. One morning, Zane found himself in a manager's office, disguised in his uniform but listening closely to the conversation around him. Two supervisors spoke quietly, discussing the workers' productivity reports. "There's a problem with Kai," one said. "He's slow, even with the adjustments. The customers complain. It's affecting the team's numbers." The other nodded. "We can't keep people who don't perform. The company's goals depend on efficiency." Zane's heart tightened. He realized that no matter how brave or hard-working Kai was, the system saw only one thing: his slow pace. Later that day, Zane watched Kai work. The young man's hands trembled slightly as he tried to scan items quickly. A few customers sighed or complained about waiting. Zane noticed the pain on Kai's face when he moved his arms too much. But Kai never lost his smile. That evening, Zane approached Kai after his shift. "I want to know how you feel about the company's support," Zane said gently. Kai looked down. "There isn't much. They don't offer help for my injury. I use my own tools and rest when I can. If I slow down too much, I'm afraid I will lose my job." Zane's mind raced. Here was a man who risked his life to save others, now afraid of losing work because the system was too strict. Zane remembered the manager's words. The company valued numbers, not people. It saw injuries and challenges as weaknesses, not strengths. Determined to understand more, Zane started talking with other workers. Many shared stories of pain, fear, and struggle. Some had families to support, others faced illnesses or disabilities. But the company's rules left little room for mercy or support. One woman told Zane, "If you don't meet your targets, you're out. No questions. No second chances." Another said, "We are just parts in a machine. If one part breaks, it gets replaced." Zane felt a deep sadness. This was not the future he wanted. The company he led had become cold and harsh, forgetting the very people who made it strong. That night, Zane stayed late, thinking about what he had learned. He thought about Kai's courage, the workers' fears, and the company's policies. Something had to change. Zane stood by the window, looking out at the city's glowing lights. He knew the path ahead would be hard. Changing a large company was never easy. But he was ready. The next day, Zane returned to the hub. This time, he watched Kai with new eyes. He saw not a slow cashier, but a hero who kept trying despite pain and struggle. Zane spoke quietly to Kai. "You deserve better support. I will work to change things." Kai's eyes filled with hope. "Thank you. That means more than you know." As the day ended, Zane made a promise to himself: he would use his power to fix the broken system. No worker should fear losing their job because of injury or challenge. No one who gave their best should be left behind. He began to draft plans for new policies, ones that would care for injured workers, provide new tools, and create a workplace where everyone could thrive. Zane knew it would take time. But every journey began with a single step. And today, that step was his. The days after his visit to the service hub passed quickly for Zane. Back in his office, high above the city in Novacore's tallest tower, he pored over reports and data. But his mind wasn't on numbers or profits, it was on the people he had met, especially Kai. Zane knew that change was needed. The company's system, built for speed and efficiency, had become too harsh. It pushed out workers like Kai, who gave their best but struggled with physical challenges. Zane felt a strong responsibility to fix this. One morning, Zane called a meeting with his closest advisors. He spoke plainly. Our company has lost sight of something important. We must care for our workers, especially those facing difficulties. It's not just good for them, it's good for Novacore's future. His team listened, some nodding thoughtfully, others uncertain. Zane knew not everyone would agree. Change was hard, especially in a company as large as Novacore. We will start with new policies to support injured and disabled workers, Zane continued. We will invest in better tools and technology to help them do their jobs. And we will create programs to train and encourage every employee, no matter their challenges. One advisor raised a concern. But how do we keep productivity up? Our shareholders want results. Zane smiled gently. True strength comes from people who feel valued and supported. They work harder, stay longer, and inspire others. This is how we build a better company. Over the next weeks, Zane and his team worked hard. They designed plans to improve accessibility in every workplace. They created budgets for adaptive technology, robotic arms, voice-activated systems, support devices like the one Kai had built himself. Zane also proposed training for managers and workers on empathy and teamwork. He wanted everyone to understand that a slow pace or a different way of doing things did not mean weakness. Meanwhile, Zane kept visiting the service hub. He spent time with Kai and other workers, listening to their ideas and concerns. Kai showed him more inventions he had built to help with daily tasks. Zane was amazed by the creativity and determination of these workers. One afternoon, Zane watched Kai carefully adjust a robotic arm attachment. You really made this yourself? Zane asked. Kai nodded. Yes. It helps me carry heavier things and reduces the pain. Zane was impressed. You should teach others how to build tools like this. Kai smiled. I would like that. Inspired by Kai's spirit, Zane decided to launch a company-wide program encouraging workers to invent and share new tools and ideas. He believed that this would not only help workers but also create a culture of innovation. But Zane knew that changing a company's culture took more than policies and programs. He needed to show the workers that he truly cared. One day, Zane asked the hub manager to arrange a meeting. In a quiet room filled with chairs and soft lights, Zane stood before a group of workers, including Kai. I want to thank you all, Zane said, his voice steady and warm. You are the heart of Novacore. Your hard work and courage inspire me. I promise to do everything I can to support you and make our company a better place for everyone. The workers looked at him with surprise and hope. Some whispered to each other, smiling. Kai's eyes shone brightly. Zane continued, we are starting new programs to help workers with injuries or challenges. We will provide new tools and training. And we want to hear your ideas. After the meeting, workers approached Zane with questions and stories. He listened carefully, knowing that this was just the beginning. That evening, as Zane left the hub, Kai came up to him. Thank you for believing in us, he said quietly. Zane smiled. You've taught me more than you know. Walking back to his office under the glowing city lights, Zane felt a new hope. The road ahead would not be easy, but together, they could build something better, a company that valued every person's strength, no matter their challenges. Zane knew that Kai's courage had sparked a change that would grow far beyond the service hub. It was a new dawn for Novacore. After weeks of planning and meetings, the day had finally come. Novacor was ready to begin its new program to support workers like Kai. The company had developed special tools and devices to help injured and disabled employees perform their jobs more easily. Managers were trained to understand different challenges, and the culture of the workplace was slowly starting to change. Zane stood quietly in the service hub, watching the scene unfold. He wore a simple uniform, blending in, but inside, he felt a mix of hope and nervousness. Change was never easy, especially in a place as big as Novacor. Kai was there too, sitting at his station. His bandaged arms were still fragile, but he now had new support devices to help him work. A robotic brace hugged his arm, helping him lift items without pain. A small voice-activated scanner allowed him to scan products faster. Zane saw the light in Kai's eyes. For the first time in months, Kai looked relieved and confident. The other workers noticed too. Some came over to watch Kai's new tools in action. Myra, the young woman who had once spoken kindly about Kai, smiled brightly. "This is amazing. It will help so many people." Zane smiled. "This is just the beginning." As the day went on, Zane observed the changes. Managers took time to check on their workers, asking how they were doing and if they needed help. Some workers shared new ideas for devices or ways to make tasks easier. A few customers even commented on the friendly and patient atmosphere. The hub felt warmer, more human. But not everything was perfect. Some employees struggled to adjust to the new tools. Others felt nervous about the changes, afraid they might not fit in anymore. Zane knew these feelings were normal. Change took time. Later, Zane met with the hub manager. "How is it going so far?" he asked. The manager nodded thoughtfully. "Better than expected. Workers are more motivated. But we need to keep supporting them and listening to their needs." Zane agreed. "We will. This is a journey, not a quick fix." Over the next few days, Zane continued his visits. He spent time with Kai, who was now teaching other workers how to use the new devices. Kai's ideas for improving tools were welcomed by the company's engineers, who began working on new designs. One afternoon, Zane watched as Kai helped a new worker with a brace similar to his own. The worker's hands shook, and he looked unsure. Kai placed a steady hand on his shoulder and said, "It takes time. You will get stronger." Zane felt proud. Kai was no longer just a worker, he was a leader and an inspiration. But Zane also knew there was more work to do. The company needed to change policies to protect workers like Kai from unfair dismissal or pressure. It needed to build a culture where everyone felt safe and valued. Zane scheduled meetings with the human resources team and legal advisors. Together, they worked on new rules that would make the workplace more inclusive and fair. One evening, as Zane left the hub, Kai caught up to him. "Thank you for everything," Kai said quietly. "You have given us hope." Zane smiled warmly. "You gave me hope too, Kai. Your strength showed me what really matters." Under the stars of Nova Prime, Zane felt a deep peace. The journey was far from over, but the first step had been taken. With courage, care, and teamwork, Novacor was becoming a place where everyone could shine. And at the heart of this change was Kai, the cashier with broken arms and an unbreakable spirit. Months had passed since Zane first stepped into the service hub Undercover. What started as a quiet observation had turned into a mission to change Novacor from within. The company was no longer just about numbers and speed. It was becoming a place where every worker mattered. Zane returned to the hub one bright morning. The atmosphere was different now. There was a warmth in the air, a sense of community and respect. Workers smiled as they moved around, helping one another, sharing ideas, and learning new skills. Kai stood at his station, but today, he looked stronger than ever. The robotic braces that once helped him move with difficulty now felt like extensions of his own arms. His hands moved steadily and confidently, scanning items and greeting customers with a bright smile. Zane walked over and greeted him. "Kai, you look great." Kai smiled widely. "Thanks to you and the new tools. I feel like I can do anything." Zane laughed softly. "You always had that strength inside. The tools just help it shine." Just then, Myra came over with a small group of workers. "Zane, we want to thank you," she said warmly. "The changes you've made have made a real difference. People feel safe, supported, and proud to work here." Zane's heart filled with gratitude. "I only did what needed to be done. You all showed me the way." As the day went on, Zane visited the company's new innovation lab, a place where workers like Kai could bring their ideas to life. Engineers and designers worked together, turning simple sketches and inventions into real tools that made daily work easier. Kai was there, demonstrating a new device he had helped design. It was a lightweight mechanical arm that could assist with heavy lifting. Several workers watched in amazement as the arm moved smoothly, easing the strain on the wearer. Zane watched quietly, proud to see how far they had come. Later, during a company-wide meeting, Zane addressed the employees. "We started this journey because we believed in the strength of every person," he said. "Today, I am proud to say that NovaCore is a company where everyone's courage and creativity matter." The crowd applauded, some with tears in their eyes. Zane thought of Kai, the man who had opened his eyes to what true strength meant. Kai's bravery, kindness, and determination had changed not only his own life but the entire company. After the meeting, Kai approached Zane. "What's next?" he asked. Zane smiled. "We keep growing. We keep learning. And most important, we keep caring." Kai nodded. "I'm ready." That evening, Zane walked out of the building, looking up at the stars shining above the city of Nova Prime. The journey was far from over, but he knew the future was bright. Because sometimes, it only takes one person's courage to change the world. And sometimes, that person is the one who never gives up even with broken arms.